Trump's defense is expected to call on the late Atlanta civil rights leader Julian Bond as a witness. Bond's son, who still lives right here in Atlanta, calls it ridiculous. Mara Sirianni has more.
To support their argument that Donald Trump should be acquitted, his attorneys are citing an important Supreme Court case, Bond v. Floyd, which dates back to the mid-1960s.
What I see them doing is grasping at straws. My father's case is very, very different.
Atlanta City Council member Julian Bond points out that his father was denied a seat in the Georgia House of Representatives for telling a reporter that he opposed the Vietnam War. The House falsely accused Bond of advocating draft dodging, but they weren't trying to impeach him. Rather, the Georgia legislature was trying to make up a reason to exclude Bond from serving in the first place. In the end, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Bond and he took his seat. Attorneys for the former president say the Georgia House was forbidden by the First Amendment from punishing Bond. They argue a legislature can't punish an elected official for free speech.
I think it's a quite creative citation.
Emory University law professor Fred Smith says he's not sure Bond's case supports Trump's.
The president's lawyers are looking for cases in which public speech by a public official has, in fact, been protected speech.
He would have a wry smile based on them grasping in his direction to try to save the former president.
And Donald Trump has rejected the request to testify under oath. Meanwhile, the Senate trial is set to get underway at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
So here's a quick look at what's needed to convict Trump. First, the Senate needs a 2/3 vote or 67 votes for a conviction. But to keep him from taking office again requires a separate vote, needing only a simple majority. That would only come up after a conviction. Now, this would prevent Trump from running again for president in 2024 or any other federal office. You can follow the trial as it unfolds. We will stream it live on 11alive.com, and be sure to download the 11 Alive app for all of the latest updates.